Didn't break the jinx. It's City versus Chelsea.
City had a scare yesterday when İlkay Gündoğan, a beaten finalist with Borussia Dortmund 8 years ago, withdrew from a final training session. Gündoğan has been past fit. The big surprise, a recall for Raheem Sterling, whose last start in the Champions League was in the first leg of the round of 16 against Borussia Mönchengladbach in February. Fernandinho, now 36, misses out. City's attacking flexibility means there's no room again for Gabriel Jesus or Sergio Aguero. The on-field officials are from Spain. Senor Antonio Mato León, fourth official back in 2019 when Liverpool defeated Tottenham Hotspur in another all-English final. Chelsea make just one change from their semi-final second leg win over Real Madrid. A thigh injury ruling out Andreas Christensen. It means Reece James starts and skipper Cesar Azpilicueta moves into the back three alongside Thiago Silva, who skippered Paris Saint-Germain in the final a year ago. Kai Havertz is again preferred to Christian Pulisic, with head coach Thomas Tuchel saying that Havertz offers height and complements Timo Werner. Mason Mount and Phil Foden, England teammates, two of the brightest stars of the English game. Looking on, the UEFA president, Alexander Ceferin. Players take a knee, underlining again that there is no room for discrimination or racism in the game. Well, blue is the colour in Porto this evening. The UEFA Champions League final of 2021. Two English teams, the royal blue of Chelsea, the light blue of Manchester City, the Premier League champions. And we have the additional boost of noise. 6,000 tickets each for the two finalists. The COVID pandemic creating so many problems worldwide. The Leeds supporters are now back for this final. David, please.
Evening everybody, wherever you may be, let us hope that it's a final to enjoy. My personal feeling is that City, with neither Fernandinho or Rodri in the centre midfield, who normally hold the ground, but they have got an attacking selection tonight, more than capable, City, of controlling possession. Chelsea, on the other hand, need to exploit space, because usually City play with a high line, and they will need Chilwell and the full-back James to get well forward if they get hold of this game.
Well, for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, this is the missing piece of the jigsaw. The one trophy which has eluded him in his time in England. The big prize for Manchester City, and a prize that seemed beyond reach for Chelsea at the start of the year, maybe, when they turned to Thomas Tuchel, who replaced Frank Lampard as their head coach. Chelsea struggling in the Premier League. And few at that point would have expected them to reach the Champions League final, David.
Yes, indeed. A bit interesting early to see here how Gundogan, who's been scoring goals and playing exceedingly well in the second half of the season, he'll play more central tonight. But I have to say that if Foden can get on the ball, and certainly De Bruyne, of course, and Mahrez, they have such attacking skills, and Chelsea will do well. They have to, first of all, make sure they compete and make sure they intercept and anticipate and tackle hard so they get a fair share of the game.
Here's Werner getting to the byline but unable to deliver the cross. Stones tracking Werner's run. Reece James. Azpilicueta.
Chelsea with three at the back, City a back line of four.
Jorginho fouled. This is his 50th appearance in Europe.
Bernardo Silva taking the ball away there. Played every one of the Champions League games this season, Bernardo Silva.
A couple of appearances off the bench. He started the other 11. On by Reece James. Werner again finding some room. Havertz.
Another example of Werner's pace, getting behind the City line there, that time getting behind Zinchenko before getting that ball into Mount, and he just almost squirmed that ball across, well held by the Brazilian Ederson.
Ruben Dias, like Bernardo Silva, the two Portuguese in the Manchester City starting 11. Ruben Dias, the Football Writers Player of the Year in England after an outstanding first season. Manchester City's record signing when they recruited him from Benfica at the start of the current campaign. A season which started indifferently for Manchester City, but they got better and better as the weeks and the season progressed. Did have hopes of a domestic treble, but they were beaten by Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley after winning the EFL Cup against Tottenham Hotspur.
Havertz is playing on the right, but tucked in on the right, which will leave space for James to get forward. Centrally at the moment, Werner, who's going to use his pace, and of course Mason Mount, the skillful player on the left-hand side. So it's an interesting front three, but they have got some pace. It's going to be a good challenge over there. Two ex-Leicester players, Mahrez and Chilwell. There's a third one, of course, on the field, Picante. Wonderful tribute to Leicester City's recruitment.
Mahrez and Picante, who won the title with Leicester City. One of the fairy tale stories of the Premier League in recent seasons. Leicester will be in the Europa League next season. They did have hopes of the Champions League right until the final weekend of the season.
And City have the ball at the back. Chilwell and James, the two full-backs, drop in almost to make a back line of five.
Thiago Silva anticipating the challenge from Walker.
Well, we can expect forays from that man Walker. Started at Sheffield United before Tottenham Hotspur. Very, very quick. One of the most rapid defenders in British football, if not the most rapid.
Quick and also adaptable. Played in goal in the Champions League tie for Manchester City. Ederson injured and Claudio Bravo sent off. Zinchenko. Now Gundogan. Some concern about Gundogan's fitness after he picked up a knee injury. He was rested at the end of the Premier League campaign, pulled out of training yesterday, which raised an eyebrow or two, but he is okay. And an eyebrow or two raised when Manchester City's starting 11 became available and there was no place for 36-year-old Fernandinho. Driven long by Ederson. Here's Sterling.
There we saw an example of the brilliant left foot that the City goalkeeper has. He can hit this long ball so accurately. And although they like playing the ball around and working the ball in short spaces, he has this ability to bypass defenders with one superb long kick. And it was Sterling there who just failed to make the most of it.
Sterling has been on the periphery for Manchester City during the knockout phase of this season's competition. In by phone. Zinchenko trying to make a nuisance of himself.
There's probably half a dozen of one, half a dozen of the other, but we've got to hope that Mr. Lozes, the Spanish referee, will keep a tight grip on all those challenges. Here we see Sterling, just edges it past the keeper but runs out of ground.
Here's James rocking on his heels somewhat when Sterling made that move onto Ederson's driven through ball. Helped on by Havertz. Here's Mount. Rudiger goes long. Havertz the first to anticipate. Werner.
Well, it was a missed kick there. That all started because Stones seemed a little bit uncertain with his touch, which gave Chelsea the opportunity to get that ball in. But Werner, who finds it difficult scoring goals at the moment, missed a bit of a half chance.
Sterling. Wonderful interception by Chilwell.
It's a good start. There's a tempo.
Sterling again. Gundogan. Zinchenko. Zinchenko again at the centre of things. Sterling held up by Azpilicueta. Hacked away by Reece James. Havertz leaning on Zinchenko.
Good defending by James, but City beginning to get hold of the possession of the game. But Havertz had a chance there was no doubt about that. Werner had a chance when the ball came to him. Just evaded Ruben Dias, and Timo Werner just couldn't quite get his feet prepared right for that shot.
Two of the meanest defences in the Champions League this season. Both conceding only 4 goals going into the final. No doubt that Chelsea tightened up after Thomas Tuchel took over from Frank Lampard. Beaten in his first 14 games in charge, a new club record. Ended perhaps surprisingly when they lost 5-2 at Stamford Bridge against West Bromwich Albion, who were to be relegated from the top flight in England.
Fouled by Gundogan on Mount. No sign of nerves of any player on the field at the moment. Big occasion, both managers talking about how different players are affected. There we see a clear pull back on Mason Mount, the brilliant young English playmaker. One of 3 English players in the Chelsea side tonight. Manchester City have 4.
John Stones has looked a little bit shaky in the early minutes of the game. Normally so reliable alongside Ruben Diaz. Thiago Silva. Azpilicueta. Only survivor from Chelsea's Europa League win back in 2013. That was his first season at the club. He joined them just after they'd won the Champions League. They needed a penalty shootout against Bayern Munich in Munich after they'd lost a final against Manchester United again in a shootout. Are we going to get another long evening, David?
Well, it's quite possible. It's a tight opening. It was Walker there that got the benefit of that offside division when Chilwell was racing forward. Midfield very compressed. Both teams defending relatively high, and that's why one or two balls are being played searchingly over the top of the defenders for chasing forward.